Thanks for joining us on the Everyday Christian Network podcast. This is episode 4, and today we are talking about Christmas spending habits. I have a couple things I want to ask you about Christmas.
About Christmas?
Mr. Scrooge.
What do you mean, Mr. Scrooge?
Well,
I am
is there a
lover
Christmas tree out there yet?
No, there's not a Christmas tree because it's not Thanksgiving yet.
Well, okay. But I tried to put up a couple Christmas things, and man, did your
Is it
Scroogey
Christmas?
eye catch them.
Is it Christmas? It's not
almost.
Christmas. Almost doesn't count.
Okay, so we have to wait. When is the appropriate time?
Thanksgiving Day,
Matthew?
you can listen to Christmas music.
Okay.
And after Thanksgiving, you can decorate. However, I am making a minor exception this year.
Yes, you are.
Because of the fact that we're very busy after Thanksgiving.
True.
I said, let's go ahead and begin letting some of the Christmas decorations infiltrate our house.
Yes. So I literally already asked around for when live Christmas trees were going to start hitting the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very, very excited
we get so
about
busy
them.
that it's like we get stuff up and then I feel like, boom, Christmas is there and then it's over with. But I don't like having it up too early. Look, I'm not one of these judgy people. If you like your stuff up now, fine.
Yes,
it's
we're
okay.
not judging.
I just personally feel like if Christmas goes too long, I don't enjoy it as much when we get closer to it.
And I get that. I do. However,
especially when I was leading musical programs and stuff, and I would start listening to Christmas music like in June.
That's hard.
That's a long time.
Hard. So my thing is, it's so much work to put everything up. As soon as I get it up, I don't want to take it right back down.
That's true. Well, you could be like some people and you could just leave your Christmas tree up to like February or something.
I know some people do. They keep their tree up and they change it out with the different holidays.
And I would like to say that I'm not judgy about that, but I kind of am. Like I'm kind of judging you for doing that.
You're kind of judging.
I'm kind of judging.
Okay.
Like that's a little weird to me.
Well, then it ceases to be a Christmas tree and it becomes a holiday tree because they change it out with the different holidays.
People do that?
Yeah.
Like they leave it up like year round?
Yeah, I've seen pictures and it's like
no way.
Valentine's Day and they put hearts all over it and pink and
if you
purple.
do that, there is something wrong with you.
I don't know that there's something wrong with them. I think
no,
that's
there's
just
not.
their taste.
But that's just strange to me. That's
just
not
be
my
glad that you don't live with
culture.
somebody who does that and let them
That's
do
true.
that. Okay.
That's true.
I want to ask you again a couple.
Okay, so it's like Christmas trivia
questions.
stuff?
It is. Yep.
Okay.
So you ready?
You're going to see if I actually love Christmas? I do love Christmas.
I know you love Christmas. Right. Okay. What much reviled Christmas edible is known for its long shelf life? Are you going to get this?
Candy canes?
No, but yes, those do have a very long
You can
shelf
keep those
life.
like forever?
Yes,
I feel like you can.
You can. No, my dad loves this. Are you going to get it now? My dad is the only one in our family and your family that loves this and eats it like candy.
Oh, I mean, the only thing I can think of that he loves is liver, which
he does love liver. Ew.
Liver and onions.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's fruitcake.
Oh, fruitcake. That is like the world's largest waste of money.
And it like you would think, oh, fruitcake, that's going to be so good.
It sounds
and
delicious.
Then you taste it.
If it can last as long as they say it can last, something is wrong with it. It's not
totally
cake.
wrong with it.
Cake should be either eaten or go bad within a few days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something wrong. Okay.
I should have thought of that, though.
You're going to get this one.
Okay.
What Bing Crosby song
White
is
Christmas.
the best? Yes.
I mean, there is no other. It is the quintessential
Let me finish.
Christmas song.
Best selling single ever. White Christmas.
I'm dreaming of
Miracle
a white... Oh, on 34th
on
Street.
34th Street.
Yep.
Centers on what real life department store?
It's not Macy's. It is Macy's.
It is Macy's.
Yeah, Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade and all that.
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
And the real question is black and white or color? The old version or the new version?
Oh.
You have to say old version.
I
That's the only right answer. It's kind of like canned cranberry sauce. There is only one right answer to that question.
Okay. Moving on. Per a recent holiday fad, what spy hides around the house reporting back to Santa on who has been naughty and nice?
Elf on the shelf.
And do you know where ours is at since we moved?
At the North Pole.
Well, that's what I was telling the kids.
I know, but hopefully he shows up before
I really
time.
don't. I mean, okay, so we have this thing. Okay, I think I'm going to end the trivia real quick.
Okay.
And I got to gotta interject this.
We're going to have a little moment with Kristi.
So yeah, Matt has this really cool love for these things. They're amazing. Do you know what I'm going to talk about?
I thought you were talking about Elf on the Shelf. I was like, that sounds really creepy.
No. Nutcrackers.
Oh,
so
I do love nutcrackers.
I think we have 600 of them.
I think we have over 30.
Yeah,
we might
we
have
have
close
over
to
30.
40 now.
And we buy one every year. Well, now it's turned into
We buy a few every year.
we buy a few every year.
Right, but okay, I have a logic for that. Someday, each of the kids, I'm going to help start their own collection.
Yes, I know.
So I have to have a lot
it's
of
cute
them.
and it's sweet, but
It is fun when you see them around the house.
But now it's kind of addicting because it's like you go to the store and Hobby Lobby already has their stuff 50% off. And so I went in and it was $10 and I surprised
Is it really 50% off if it's always 50% off?
It's not always 50% off, but
it's like that's just the price. Anyway, go on.
Anyways, I bought one and it's an elf nutcracker because we try to do variations of them, right? We have all different kinds. So it's an elf, and my younger two, Marshall, which is our elf on the shelf's name, Marshall's back. And I'm like, no, Marshall doesn't come back till December. Marshall's at the North Pole.
Yeah. And by North Pole, we mean shoved in a box.
Yeah, it's
somewhere.
I was doing really good when we moved from Illinois to Wisconsin. I did so good. I was like, I saw Marshall and I said, nope, I've got to put Marshall where I know Marshall's going to be. And it was fine. We were great. And then we moved here and I don't know what took over my brain, but I didn't think about Marshall. And so
I don't know where he is.
That's going to be a problem. Oh, well.
We'll figure it out.
And for all of you that are judging me, saying that I have an elf to make my kids nice, it's just a fun tradition. And
we don't use it as a behavioral modification
no,
tool.
It's just fun.
No, but if worse comes to worse, maybe Marshall just like had an injury flying or something this year and he couldn't make it.
Maybe Marshall can write a letter to the kids.
Or we could like, maybe one of you could like use your Marshall and film it, but like take it outside in the snow and be like, I'm sorry, I can't make it.
Maybe Marshall got married and one of you that has the girl elf.
He's on his honeymoon.
He's on his honeymoon. And the only time they could do it this year was the month of December.
Which would seem weird that that's their busiest time of the year.
Yeah.
And they would, this is quite the backstory we've developed.
Okay, yes it is. We should move on.
It is getting close to Christmas time, though.
Time.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about really something that nobody likes to think about at Christmas.
I know.
And that's
I don't like to.
living within our means.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to live within our means.
No.
We want to live abundantly and we want to buy everybody the nicest possible gifts.
It's fun.
It is fun. It makes us feel good. It makes them feel good.
Yeah.
But if we're going to live biblically principled lives,
yes,
then we need to live within our financial means.
Mm-hmm.
And so we, Kristi and I have been talking a lot lately, even just within our own family. So we thought it would make a good podcast about what that means, what that looks like, and what are some reasons that we tend to get away from that. And so we have 4 reasons we've come up with why some of you, and potentially us if we're not careful, will overspend this Christmas season.
We've all done it. I've done it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thank you, Matt. Listen, you've had your fair share. You have such a soft heart for our kids.
I actually am worse than her.
He is.
Because I will just buy everything.
I'm like, you know how naughty they were this week? They don't need that. They can wear last year's sweatshirt.
I could do a better job getting you stuff, and I could definitely do a better job sometimes of like getting things that I need.
Yes.
But when it comes to the kids, I'm just like, get it, especially when they're little. Like Kennedy's at the tail end of it.
She is.
Where I can hardly stand it when she's like, Daddy, and it's like, okay, fine.
Oh, I know.
But there are 4 reasons we've come up with. There may be more. This is not like some exhaustive list on it, but there's 4 reasons.
Okay, so the first one is pride. Pride, purchasing things I don't need to impress people for reasons that don't matter.
Purchasing things I don't need to impress people for reasons that don't matter.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Because it's literally this idea of I care what you think about me.
Yes.
And so I'm going to purchase, or I care what you think about my kids. And so I'm going to buy them things that they don't need just because I want it to have a certain logo or a certain look or whatever.
Or I want them to think that I'm the coolest parent in the world.
Yeah.
And so what they think of me is going to reflect in the gift that I give them.
Or sometimes it's even the kids. And so we'll overspend so that they can have pride. We actually have been talking to our kids this year about this as they're thinking about stuff that they want. It's like, why do you want that?
Right.
Like, do you want that because you care what people think about you?
Yep.
Do you want that because you want a certain image kept up? Or do you want it just because it's practical? And maybe they just want to not that those reasons are bad, but when they begin to covet those things because of, I want this name brand, because I want to be cool or accepted.
Because
or something.
everybody else has it.
Yeah. And so it's okay to want it.
Right.
There are things that I want. There are things that you want that we just don't have or we don't purchase. But when we allow that to take over us and we, as adults, spend money we don't have in order to obtain things we don't need to impress people for reasons that don't really matter.
Yeah.
That's just pride.
Yeah. So check yourself. Why? What is the reason behind the gift that you're getting?
Because you don't want to overspend.
Yeah.
Like, the goal is to live within our means.
Right.
And the reality is that some of us have less means. Some of us have more means. Some of us have had a great year financially. Some of us maybe have struggled a little bit financially.
Right.
And all of that is okay.
Right.
So
yeah,
be careful not to get caught up in the pride. So number one, pride. Number two,
guilt. Purchasing things my kids want when I can't afford them because I feel bad. Ooh.
Yeah, that's a hard one as a parent.
That's a hard one.
I want my kids to have the Christmas that I never had, or I want my kids to have the toys I never had, or I want them to have the memories that I never had. Things that just like, I want this to be so special for my kids.
Or, they're talking about that one toy. Mom, everybody has this video game. Everybody has this video gaming system. We don't have that. If you can't afford it, you can't. And you can't feel bad about that. That's just not in the place where you're at to get it. And that's okay,
We've survived for thousands of years without the things that kids have today.
Yeah.
It's not going to harm them. And I'm not saying that it's bad to get them those things. If you can afford them, it's fine, potentially fine. That's between you and your family and the dynamics of your family. But this idea of, I feel so guilty that I'm going to spend money I don't have to buy them things to appease my guilt, you're not teaching them any valuable lessons, and you're certainly going to stretch yourself beyond what God's called you to do, where he wants you to live within your means financially. Do that.
Yeah. So our kids are at the age where they're playing sports now. And last year we actually thought ahead to our year, and we said, okay, they're in sports now. They're going to need helmets. They're going to need bats. They're going to need gloves. They're going to need cleats, all those kind of things.
Yeah.
And we said, hey, why don't we take their Christmas and make that their Christmas presents? Make it fun. We thought ahead to what they were going to need, and we made it fun for them.
And somebody might say, well, that's just so practical. That's not an exciting gift. It is to them.
It is.
They opened those and thought it was so cool to be getting a helmet. So for us, it was a win-win.
Right.
They're getting, and we probably would do a little bit nicer at Christmas than we would have for the season.
Sure.
So like, if I'm going to get baseball gloves for Carter, for example, I might get him a little better pair because it's Christmas than I would have gotten him otherwise. That way it makes it more special that they're getting those things. But if you don't have a ton of extra money, then do something that you would need to do anyway, but maybe make it special. Maybe do it a little bit nicer or something along those lines. One thing we've talked about this year, and we haven't settled on it just yet, it's something we need to kind of figure out soon. While we definitely want them to have a few things to open at Christmas, we're looking at maybe purchasing memories, like getting them tickets to something or taking them somewhere on a trip and kind of giving them something that says we're going on this trip and kind of locking that in. This is the date, this is the time, this is where we're going. Because honestly, that toy or that game or that whatever, someday you're going to have in a garage sale.
Yep.
But the memory of going to that place, going to the zoo, going to the water park, going somewhere as a family and doing something, that's something they're going to remember forever.
It's going to hurt a lot less than stepping on that Lego in the middle of the night. Let me tell you.
Yes. Isn't that the truth?
Oh, goodness.
So one reason we're going to overspend is pride. Another reason we're going to overspend at Christmas time is guilt. What's another one?
Obligation.
Which means what?
Purchasing things I can't afford for fear of judgment.
So I think of this in a context of, especially in like large family gatherings.
Yeah.
So it's like we're all getting together and I feel obligated to buy grandma and grandpa and cousin Joe and Aunt Sally and everybody a gift. And maybe some of them have really good jobs and they give really good gifts. And so I feel obligated to give at the level that they give. and here's the thing, unless the person you're dealing with is really just a jerk, and I don't mean that in a mean way, if they have financial resources, they don't expect you to give the same level they give.
Right.
No one expects that. So one thing you need to think about is just what can you do, and just do that and be okay with it. Again, don't let pride get in the way.
Yeah.
But this idea of an obligation, you may have to change things up. I know Kristi has an idea. One of the ideas that I had was maybe talk to everybody, and instead of everybody exchanging gifts with everybody, is do a secret Santa or something where you draw a name. And so instead of buying gifts for 20 people, you can buy one gift for one person, or do a white elephant gift exchange. And usually we think of that as a silly game with junky stuff. Buy nicer things and do a fun game, and then you have the memory of doing something as a family together as well. Then you had an idea as well.
Yeah. So if you have a friend or somebody that you want to buy for, even a coworker, like if you know, man, we're gonna have the Christmas party at work, or all these people are going to be giving me gifts. If you have something special like a picture with that person, you can frame a nice picture and you can give the gift of your words. You can take a card and you can write down words of affirmation for that person. And that means a lot, and it doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah.
You know?
And you may think, well, this is dumb or this is lame. But the reality is, if it's what you can do that.
Do it. Yeah.
Just do that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Another one too, if you have kids, what I did for when my kids were pretty little, handprints and feet prints on aprons, or even pictures and framing them. It's special.
We did
It's
that for
super
Nana,
special.
for my mom, and
Yeah.
it was one of the most special things she's gotten as a gift.
Yeah.
So pride, guilt, obligation, and then one more.
Emotionalism.
And this one's huge.
Yeah.
Emotionalism.
So don't purchase things because you are caught up in the moment. You're hearing the Christmas music. You have your peppermint mocha in hand, and you're fa-la-la-la-la through the store, and you just throw stuff constantly in your cart.
This one is me 100%.
Oh yeah.
I get in that mode of
Warm
like, let's get
fuzzies.
this and let's get this and let's get this and let's get this, and I don't even realize what it's adding up to, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I can't believe we just spent as much as we spent.
You know what you tell me?
What?
Think about their faces on Christmas Day when they're opening, and I think about their sweet little faces, and then I think about my face 2 weeks later when everything's on the floor and broken under their bed.
Yeah. And it's so easy though to get caught up in that emotionalism of just, it makes me feel good to do this.
And you do feel good. It's more blessed to give than to receive. Like, it does make you feel good, and that's okay. But if you get caught up in that emotionalism and you go outside of your means and go into debt for it, that instant gratification that you have right then purchasing that is gonna quickly go away when you realize, I paid how much in interest?
Hey, and so there's a couple of things that you can do. One is, instead of putting things on a credit card, take out a literal cash budget. Like, literally pull out, let's say that you're going to spend, make up a number. Let's call it $500 for everybody for Christmas. That's the family budget for everybody that you're buying Christmas presents for. Take the $500 cash out of the bank, and when it's gone, it's gone. It's gone. Stop.
Yep.
Don't spend any more. That was the plan. That was the amount you set aside. Save up for it if you need to over the next couple of weeks. Do what you have to do. Don't use a credit card.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're disciplined. I'm not talking about somebody that's disciplined and this is how you typically do it. I'm saying if you are doing it because you can't afford it.
Right.
Put the credit card back in the wallet. Leave your credit card at home if you have to. You may literally need to just take it out of your wallet, put it in a drawer at home, and don't take it with you when you go shopping.
Absolutely.
And don't get real Amazon click happy either. Like, stay off of Amazon if you have to.
Remember what you buy. Write it down.
Keep track of it. Have a budget. And even if I'm not saying that you have to budget your whole life out. You should.
Sure.
But that's not even the point.
Right.
I'm just saying that have a plan of, this is what I can afford this year.
Yeah.
Don't buy things based on what you feel like buying. Buy things based on what you can afford.
And you know what this is going to do too? This is going to teach our children. This is going to help those around us remember the true reason for the season.
Yeah.
Right? The Christmas is about the gospel. It's about Jesus coming here to save the lost. It's about God sending his only son for us. Yes, we want to stay within our means. Yes, we want to be good stewards of our finances. We want to do all that kind of stuff, but we want to keep Christ in Christmas. I know that sounds cliche. I know that's, pithy at times, but truly it starts with us. It starts with making that decision to truly remember the reason for Christmas.
Don't overspend.
Mm-hmm.
Have a budget. Make Jesus the focus. Look, if your kids get the greatest toys that are available this Christmas season and they miss the fact that it's about Jesus, you have failed.
Yeah.
You may think you won. Man, we won this year. We won the gift giving. If they don't catch that it's about Jesus, then we have failed as parents. So we'll spend time at Christmas reading the Christmas story together. We don't, honestly, we're not like super Christians. We don't do it before the gift giving usually because our kids aren't, they're just like, that's an irritation to them at that point. And I don't want the gospel to be an irritation. Like they're just like, oh, I just want to get through this to get to the fun stuff. I wish they were more spiritual. I wish they were more spiritual. But the reality is they're just ready to do that. And so we want to keep in mind that we want to point their hearts to who it's all about. So typically we'll read the story, but also this year what we're doing is all of our kids are going to be part of our Christmas gifts to Jesus at church, where they're going to go and they're going to pick out a gift and they're going to help wrap it and they're going to donate that and we're going to give that to a family in need as well. So it's a way to keep them focused on giving. Our kids all go to, we just take them to, what's that store? Five Below. So it's cheap stuff and they each get to pick something out for each of their siblings. So it's a way that they're learning to give as well. Yeah. So keep these thoughts in mind. We want you to have a wonderful Christmas. We want it to be a fantastic time, but we really want to make sure that you live within your means. Thank you for listening to the Everyday Christian Podcast. This is it for episode number 4. We've had a great time recording these and bringing you this content. If you're listening to it on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher, thank you for tuning in. Please share this with somebody. Rate it, review it. Let folks know about the Everyday Christian Podcast. If you'd like to see the video version, you can go to Facebook or YouTube and you can see it there. We film these as well. And if you're watching it on Facebook or YouTube, share this with somebody. Leave a comment. Engage with us in conversation. We want this to be something where we can kind of talk to you. So don't hesitate to
hear from you.
Yeah. So don't hesitate to leave a comment or something. Share it as well on your social media feeds. Let people know about this if you would, if it's a help to you. We'd love for you just to help us get the word out as well. Next week, we have a guest on our podcast talking about finances. His name is
Tim Rosen.
He's a financial planner. Smart dude, a great guy, a Christian.
It's going to be a great one.
It is. It's a good episode. He and I talked a little bit ago, and we talked specifically about finances around Christmas, a little more detail, a little more information. We talked about, is it okay? There's one question I asked him, is it okay for a Christian to use a credit card? And I think that's a commonly asked question. I think it's something that maybe is even misunderstood much of the time. So he and I had a conversation about that. And so something that I hope you'll tune into and hope you won't miss. Thank you for joining us on the Everyday Christian Podcast. You can find all of our resources at the everydaychristiannetwork.com, where we have blog posts that I write, that others write, where we're just trying to bring you helpful, beneficial content. And you can listen to us, the Everyday Christian Podcast. And we are so grateful that you would tune in and listen. And we will see you next time.